All right. Good afternoon, everyone joining us across the globe. You're welcome to our today's webinar and seminar um, presented to us by Aptech Nigeria, um, Javis Center. Once again, welcome from wherever you are around the globe. Um, Morning, afternoon, or evening. So today's topic is actually something that is very, very interesting. Again, it's more like an extended conversation that I was having or that I previously had with a colleague of mine who is going to be our guest speaker today. And yeah, he's going to be up shortly, of course, and he would, of course, do justice to this conversation. However, we began the conversation by talking about penetration testing, particularly bug bounties. And I was so interesting to hear from him, bringing him, fresh perspective, as to what what the general understanding of cybersecurity out there or bug bounty out there is, right? Pardon me. So, um, we had that conversation during the conference, the just concluded conference by the Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria, and it was really it was really short but very enlightening. Now, I was so curious to keep him on that conversation for as long as possible, but obviously we had to attend to other do other things during the conference. Well, I was able to reach out to him, and of course he's now here with us. Mr. Ojo, thank you so much for joining this conversation. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Thank you, sir, for joining in.
Uh,
Uh, I was just
thank you very
sharing
much.
and just enlightening those who will be viewing us, of course, across the world now on how this conversation, erupted, and yeah, just going back to our time during the conference, and of course, I want to really appreciate your time because out of your busy schedule, you still made it or you still find or found some time to slot this into your programs. So thank you so much, Mr. Ojo. Mr. Ojo is a cybersecurity researcher and again a practitioner in this field over the years that comes with depth when it comes to knowledge and expertise in this field. I'll let him do the introduction very briefly, and then yeah, I'll pick up the mic again. Let me hand over the mic to you, Mr. Ojo. Go ahead, sir. Okay. Okay. So apologies for that. I was on mute for a period of time. So let me just confirm, Mr. Ojo, can you hear me, sir? Am I audible to you, Mr. Ojo? Okay. I think we do have other guests here with us. Joel, you're welcome. Daniel as well. Daniel is one of our bright students here at Aptech. Let me just confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Or good morning. Delighted to be here. Thank you for welcoming.
I agree. Thank you, Daniel. So I suppose you can hear me, Daniel. Yeah. All right, great. Joel as well is here with us, although he might not be able to speak. Joel is also a very good friend of mine from the United Arab Emirates, also a graduate of cybersecurity. Thank you, Joel, for joining us. Okay, I think Mr. Ojo might have run into some technical problem. I'll just bring him back up, to the scene again. Mr. Ojo, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Can you hear
Can you
me,
hear me?
Mr. Ojo?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now too. Awesome,
Right.
awesome.
Perfect. So good
All right, great,
afternoon.
awesome. So thank you so much for finding out the time to join this conversation. I was just sharing and saying this is an extended conversation, from the last time we met during the Cybersecurity Expert Association of Nigeria's cybersecurity conference, and I was saying um, how we got the conversation started by discussing about bug bounties and all of that, and then we got into discussing penetration testing and vulnerability assessment. However, just to I'm still going to let Mr. Ojo introduce himself properly, but just to shed a light on his expertise. He's a cybersecurity researcher, also a bug bounty say researcher as well. Of course, he's had one or two bug bounties won. So, and he's someone who comes with a depth when it comes to this expertise in cybersecurity. So I'll just let Mr. Ojo also reintroduce himself, and then I'll get the mic back, and then we'll get the conversation going. Over to you, Mr. Ojo, sir.
All right. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm very audible. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me very well? Am I very audible? Am I very audible? Am I very audible? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you very well.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ojo Itono Samuel, as you see on my profile display. I am a cybersecurity student. Yeah, I'm still a student and 400 level student of cybersecurity, the Federal University of Technology, Akure. I am the founder of the Cybersecurity Research Society, which is an organization that was established to contribute to the research landscape and ecosystem for advancement of knowledge in cybersecurity. I'm currently the 25th national president for the largest body of competent students in Africa, which is the Nigeria Association of Competent Students, NACOS National. It's a pleasure to be here. With respect to professional application, I do cybersecurity research. I do everything research in cybersecurity. I do both offensive, defensive, and AI policy and governance, which is my focus for now. But in practice, I do security operations. Specification is data forensics, incident response, and malware analysis. So basically, that is a brief overview of what I do as a person. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ojo, for that introduction. Of course, that's so many acts right there that you're wearing. So, and again, I believe everyone listening to our conversation right now are already rest assured that there will be a lot of takeaways from today's conversation. So we're just going to start, today's conversation really by, something very interesting, which is the rise of AI, which is artificial intelligence. So, to an extent, we're just going to assume that this webinar, is also a form of educating our audience. So, Mr. Ojo, I just want you to just shed some light on what, to your own understanding, what is AI and how is it shaping the next generation of security researchers?
Now, first of all, to be very clear, the current era of hacking and the current era of security is majorly dependent on AI agents, right? If you play CTFs very well, let's start from the game parts. I would want to make it very relatable. If you play CTFs very well, we now call it a battle of LLMs, where whoever has the best prompts, whoever has the best agents gets to do the best
Mm,
stuff and catch the flag very fast. So we call it a battle of LLMs.
mm,
Now, how does AI and what is AI talking about to security? So now, in the current security world, right, at the end of the day, it's no longer something new. It's something that we have been doing that has been on and on. For those that were, I think I met
mm,
only AY at the cybersecurity conference, right? There was the first day display was on building an AI assisted agent for yeah. So now pen testing AI assisted pen
mm,
testing that was done using Claude. Now, that is an example of what extent AI can go. For those that have tested Mitos, I've tested Mitos on a very basic level, not on advanced level. I've tested Mitos on a very Mitos has a very, very crazy ability compared to what you can imagine. Now, over the past few months, about 2, 3 months now, you must have been seeing different attacks from remitter to this one, from this to that. Now, all of this cannot be done just by one person. They're working that together as a team, and all the while it is just one single person's profile, byte to breach, no other person. This would mean that the level of access they have to LLMs and AI models, AI agents are becoming very, very advanced. And that is what we're looking at now with
mm,
respect to security. Now, when you have a system, what will take you as a person to run one scan, or what you might overlook, the LLMs help you run a clean sweep, a deep scan, taking into factor what you might have ignored as a person. Then they make the whole thing run very, very clear. Now that way, if as a person you are not very well prepared, or you're not very well prepared, everything that you
mm,
think that okay, this one should not be discovered, which is what we call a zero-day vulnerability, that should not be discovered because no weakness like that has been found before. They might start from you. That zero day will start from you. Then from that place, take advantage of your system, and that is it. Now, in the current era of AI engineering, right, AI models built for pen testing are becoming very, very advanced, and they can go way more than we can think. Now, for example, when you want to run a scan, right, the model knows 10 different
yeah,
scans. Then it can always pick the best scan based on the type of attack that you want to carry out. But you as a person, you might be doing okay, guess this
mm,
one, guess this one, guess that. The model can run all of those attacks very, very fast. It can process it very, very fast, depending on your GPU or computational processing, whatever access you have to computational resources. Runs your scan very fast. Less than 30 minutes, 1 hour, you found something already. Now, that way, if you are not well protected, if you don't know what you are doing in terms of security as a company, as an individual, you would tend to have a lot of issues coping in the security space as of
mm,
now because of the rise of
mm.
AI and LLMs. Thank you.
Well, well, that was very awesome, Mr. Ojo. I like that you brought in the concept of the large leveraging large language models for vulnerability discovery and all of that, and even how, of course, this AI or artificial intelligence tools can help us, when it comes to automation and making our life easier. Let me use that word, making our lives easier, as security researchers. Okay. Sorry, this is just on a lighter note. We are currently live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So any of our participants from LinkedIn and YouTube who has either a contribution or a question, please just drop it on the comment section either on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and be sure that you will get your question or your contribution, announced here in the studio on the live stream. All right. So again, thank you so much for that, bringing your perspective into that question, Mr. Ojo. I'm just also very curious what the future for AI is. So, for instance, you are going to be very familiar with the concept of zero-day attacks, right? These are attacks that are not yet, publicly, say, disclosed, to the public, right? So again, how do you think that security researchers can start determining if a particular attack is an AI generated zero-day attack?
So moving on to that one, right? The most important part of this
I don't know if
thing
the
is,
question was clear.
yeah, if you can, you're talking about how can you detect if an attack is AI driven, right? Or AI generated zero-day attack, right?
Thank you. Yes, yes,
Now let's
exactly.
talk from the
Yeah, you got my
perspective.
question. You got my
Because
question.
let's talk from the perspective of the developer. Now, as a dev guy that does vibe coding, for example, you
Mm.
vibe code, you are not very good at development, then you vibe code. Right? You build a system, you build a project. Upon completion of your project development, or you are done with your development process, right? You then don't look out properly for what you're supposed to look out for. You leave some things left, you just leave some things lying around.
Mm.
The AI has access to tokens, has access to APIs, has access to restricted database systems or user authentication protocols that it should not have access to normally, right? Now, if these things are not properly
Mm.
addressed, if another person, right, you put in the right prompt, you call the right language, at the end of the day, they can always find a way to exfiltrate the data from the AI agent. Now, mind you, whatever data you feed the AI is broken into bits, broken into a sequence of numbers. That's called the AI sequence. It's broken into a sequence of numbers. Now, when it's broken into a sequence of numbers, if you as a developer don't take necessary steps to check what level of access does this AI model or these LLMs have to the development and implementation system, it causes a lot of problem. And to check if an attack is AI generated is only the speed, right? And the time process that makes it very, very fast. And you cannot know that it is predicted or done by an AI. Because
Mm.
talking about report can be modified to fit human language, right? If the report comes out, they can always modify the
Mm.
report. But the most important part is that that key vulnerability was captured in the report, and that is all. That's all I need to know. AI model access to speed.
Mm.
So what you think
Mm.
has not been discovered before can always be discovered by AI models and LLMs. Now, for models that work with unsupervised learning or reinforcement learning, and they can only take in data feed from their source or from what is happening in the environment, or taking real-time data, process the data, then train themselves with the data. It is always much easier for
Mm.
them to discover attacks because they are constantly learning and they can process more information that a human being can do. So now that way, when we're talking about
Mm.
zero-day attacks in generated systems, when you are building a system with AI models, always watch what level of access does this AI model have to critical infrastructure.
Mm.
Remember, at the Cybersecurity Nigeria, we're talking about critical infrastructure, building resilience for Nigerian security infrastructure, critical infrastructure. So now, for IT and OT guys, guys are doing information technology and information technology, right? The level of access that the AI model has to the system will determine what type of activities can be carried out. The same AI that populates your system can also check what loopholes exist in your system if these gaps are not properly kept in check. So I might have to switch my device now. Just a minute. I'll join you shortly.
Okay, okay, all right, awesome. So I mean, from what Mr. Ojo has from what you have shared with us, you can see that right now we can also analyze communication patterns, with AI, or analyze AI's communication pattern. So how AI communicates, again, because we are now seeing even AI powered social engineering, and psychological reconnaissance play out. So this is more like against the traditional way of how phishing attacks evolved, and all of that. So there is now a pattern that we can associate, or we can correlate to. Okay, this is, I mean, okay, take for instance, recently generating some images, that I was going to use even for this live streaming. And I could see that there are certain tags that comes with these images that, whenever these images are posted either on any social media site, or maybe published, to say a site where you are maybe writing articles or blogs and all of those things, it has, that tag with it that shows that this image was generated by AI. So there is that pattern right now that follows AI, and that is what we are trying to, educate the public about, and even ourselves as security professionals, right, to be able to understand this pattern, analyze them. It's more like AI is also having a digital footprint right now. Whereas if an attack occurs, how are security researchers able to tell if that attack was, was generated by, an human, or by, the AI? So, however, while we still having Mr. Ujo to switch his device back to and join us back. We'll just check on our streaming platforms right now to see if there are any questions from there so far. So I'll just switch to LinkedIn to see if we have any questions from our participants over there, and also on YouTube. Okay, so right now from LinkedIn there are no comments, and also from YouTube there are no comments. So if you're joining us, or you're just joining us, please do it to, yeah, repost and share this live stream, so that we can get more participants being educated. Okay, so back to our discussion again. Once we have Mr. Ojo back, one thing I would like him to, shed light on is how then we can now weaponize against AI. So we are now thinking, how can we, build an arsenal, of cybersecurity tools, of course, that could, either detect, right, how an attack originated, and how, the path of that attack, traverses, that is within a system, right, across the system, literally or laterally. That's the lateral movement. Of course, we know, could be associated with humans, but how about, these AI tools as well, right? So, you're welcome back, Mr. Ojo. So I was just saying right now, and I think this would be the conversation we might most likely use to round up this very short stream. It's how then can we weaponize ourselves, or as security researchers? How can we build an arsenal that defends against AI? So it's not like a scenario of AI versus AI. We want a scenario of, we humans versus AI, because again, right, we are saying, how is this tool helping us to detect vulnerabilities faster? So it will be somewhat absurd that we are using AI to detect AI attacks. I mean, this conversation is it's as much as it's enlightening, it's also interesting, right? So Mr. Ojo, what can you say about weaponizing or security researchers weaponizing themselves against AI and its attacks?
Okay, you understand your question, right? I will answer this question. You mentioned something before about the battle of AI versus humans. Now, according to the current legal conduct in Nigeria, right, you cannot hold an AI model responsible for a particular activity. Are you aware? You would have to hold whoever is in charge of
Hmm.
using AI model responsible for that particular action.
Wow.
So now, in
Hmm.
that case, what you'll be doing now would be that whenever you run a scan or you run a test with an AI model or an AI agent or an LLM, you have to make sure you fact check what you do. And one issue that AI models have is that they tend to fabricate a lot of things that do not exist. That is part of the flaw that exists. Although it's getting better now, but then AI models still generate stuff that don't exist. So now, when you're using an AI model, one is that you limit the level of access that it has to the physical information. One. Two is that limit the level of private information that it has access to. Then three, before you push anything or before you put anything, make sure that you confirm the information to the detail. Because say for example now, I'm a security analyst, I'm working in an organization, right? Because the AI model or because the AI agent or the firewall sitting at the end of the network, right, allow them to pass. Does not mean that it's automatically allowed to pass at this first security the analyst on it. It's not nice, it's not right. That is because of the fact that
Hmm.
the AI model, the AI agents allowed it to pass. Why I'm there is to fact check and be sure that this particular action or activity is valid. So, in the context of AI
Hmm.
versus humans, AI cannot entirely replace humans, at least for now, because human beings still there is no legal regulation. You cannot sue, you cannot decide to, you cannot go and sue clouds, and you cannot sue Anthropic. You cannot sue open AI for their AI model because the AI model doesn't know your server. It's going to be careless on the part of your analyst that was in charge of using that particular agent or the model or whatever. Then another thing is that AI models or
Hmm.
agents should be considered and should be properly checked in the development process, majorly because of supply chain attacks. Because some agents can be built, those agents can have some traps or loopholes existing. And it might land on the infrastructure. It tends to start to carry out a lot of activities that should not be allowed to happen on that particular system. So that then brings us to the point to close this discussion that when an AI model is used for the security operation process, a human still has to be there to fact check and be sure that all processes are duly observed.
Hmm.
There is no operation that goes outside what the model is supposed to do.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Ojo. I mean, this was very short. Again, we are going to round it up here. However, I want to strongly believe for every security researcher or an aspiring cybersecurity practitioner who has, taken their time to pay attention to, the details that you have dished out here, there will be definitely that one thing that you pick out. For me, I would say it's been how you've made it clear that even with AI still needs the input of we humans. So AI cannot be self-independent, right? AI has to rely still on the capabilities of humans, which is actually a strong point. So though what we have out there, with the narratives of AI can be independent and could do things alone, because of course we are even having security researchers beginning to question whether the future AI models would be able to independently discover previously unknown vulnerabilities, right, at scale that is beyond human capabilities. But with what I've listened to you, what I've taken out from your points are that notwithstanding humans, still have that position that AI cannot replace, right? When it comes to security, particularly security, right? I'm not sure about other domains, all of that, but particularly security. And you brought the concept again of even firewalls and all of that, because again, yes, AI could help or could assist in maybe blocking or allowing certain traffics, but we as humans, right, particularly we are the one that we interact with these systems, to filter out or to assign, particularly an IP address, maybe to be on the allow list or the block list and all of this. So that actually does make sense. And again, I just want to thank you for your time. It was a very short one, but something that again, like I said, if you're an aspiring cybersecurity professional, these are the kind of conversations that you want to engage yourself with, just to help you, enlightening your knowledge base or your knowledge bank. So thank you once again, Mr. Ojo, for joining us on this edition of this live stream and this live webinar. We hope that you would, from a busy schedule, please find time again to come and engage with us or get engaged with other interesting conversations that we will come up with. Okay, so with that, let me bring this to a close by thanking the administration and the management of Aptech Nigeria, particularly Jabi Centers, where we are currently having this live stream from. Without further ado, we would like to have all of you again in our upcoming workshop and live stream. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us and do have a great one. Bye for now.